Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Shaniece M. Weiss, CEO and founder of Weiss Armstrong and Associates, LLC, and founder and host of the podcast Red Lipstick Chronicles, Tips from the Lips of Successful Entrepreneurs. Shaniece is a certified business coach and executive trainer, a motivational and transformational keynote speaker, the author of the best-selling book, Activating Your Gifts, and currently writing her second book. Weiss Armstrong and Associates, LLC is a business coaching and consulting firm. As a business expansion coach and strategist, Shaniece teaches small business owners through a seven-step system how to expand their profits by growing their spiritual beliefs, up-leveling their branding, marketing, selling, and profitability strategies. She focuses more on working with business owners who ask the question, what's next? The business owner who is past the startup phase, have at least 2 or more employees, earning revenue, and trying to figure out what the next system and or strategy is needed. Shaniece helps them uncover the business gaps that are causing them to leave money on the table and preventing them from experiencing growth at accelerated levels. Shaniece is married with 1 child and they reside in Columbus, Ohio. Without further ado, please help me welcome on and bring on board Shaniece. How are you doing, Shaniece?
I'm doing great, Kimberly. Thank you for having me.
Well, it is my pleasure, and I'm excited. I've had the wonderful opportunity to be on your show, and I could not wait to get you on my show. So we have yay, and I just love it. I love the Red Lipstick Chronicles. So for those who have you're welcome, honey. And I'm telling people, if they have not listened to your shows and your program, they're missing out. I promise, they're missing out. So,
man, amen.
All right, but what we're gonna do? Let's go ahead and get this awesome interview started. Why don't you tell the listeners just a little bit more about yourself personally, and then we'll start diving into some other questions.
Okay, well, on a personal note, I am, like you shared, married to the man of my dreams, and I have a 10-year-old son, Brandon Charles, who is just everything to me. God has truly gifted me with an amazing young man who is in a million sports, so he runs his mama crazy. But no, he's a straight A student, and he's amazing. I am very, very family oriented, so I have a huge family. So a fun fact about me, my great grandmother she died 2 weeks before she turned 102, Kimberly. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yes. 2 weeks before she turned 102. So there is long life in my family. Love to travel, love to read, and I love my quiet time. I love quiet time, and I love the summer. So a little bit about me on the business side. You shared it a little bit. I am a business expansion coach and strategist, and I work with business owners all over the country that are looking to go to the next level, the next stage of their business, because there's a lot of things out there for new business owners. There's a lot of things out there for startups, but there's not a lot out there for the business owner who's in between, who may be earning 6 figures or headed to 6 figures, who has a couple employees, and they're just trying to figure out what's next. How do I up level my brand? How do I grow my profitability? What is my profit margin looking like? So I come on the scene. I tell people I am a one-stop shop as a business coach.
Wow.
People come to me and I do a business analysis. We look at where they're leaving money on the table, where they're leaking. We look at their branding strategies, their marketing, selling, optimizing their business, what they're doing great, what they need to improve, and then we start implementing that. So yeah, I'm like that one-stop shop chick. I have been in business for this is my 17th year being in business. Yep. So love what I do. Came out of I was an executive sales director with Mary Kay in my previous life before I fully developed my coaching firm. And I was the pink Cadillac chick. So when I was at Mary Kay, yep, I earned 7 free cars. 4 of them were pink Cadillacs, featured in some of the marketing material with Mary Kay. So had an amazing unit, but it just wasn't what I needed to do forever. It was just a little pit stop in order for me to get to where I'm at today.
Well, I tell you what, that was a pretty good not forever, okay? I'm sitting here like, wait a minute now, 7 pink Cadillacs. Most people try to get one.
4.
And
four pink Cadillacs.
Okay, excuse me,
7
4
free
Cadillacs.
cars.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll let go of the 3 other
We'll
ones.
let it go.
Okay. But that's amazing. That is an amazing pit stop. That's an amazing way to start, and then to realize that you definitely wanted to grow above and beyond. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with having a strong unit, and being at that level as an executive director is pretty good. I've known quite a few other women who have been in that business, and most of them continue to either go forward, or like you said, they either stop or they just kind of stay stagnant in what they're doing, but they always love what they do. And obviously, being that you have been in that business, I'm sure you took what you learned from that and then poured it into your own business. And to say that you've been in this business for 17 years, you've definitely got to be patting yourself on the back daily. Congratulations for that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's 17 years of being in business, of being an entrepreneur, running a small business. Started out, I graduated from Ohio State in the School of Business. I have 2 business degrees. Went into pharmaceutical sales, Kimberly, and I just realized working in corporate just wasn't for me. I needed my own thing, my own flexibility. So left corporate, started my Mary Kay business. I was in there for 14 years. And then when I stepped down, girl, when I sent my Cadillac back, when I tell you Mary Kay called me on the phone like, are you serious? The company.
Right.
Like, what is going on? Because I gave up almost 200 consultants. But when God shifts you, it's better to be obedient to him instead of man. So I had to walk into what it was that he desired for me and built my coaching firm. But yeah, 17 years of being an entrepreneur.
Wow, that's amazing. And like I said, and I'm sitting here listening to, because I know Mary Kay and a lot of the other organizations that are doing the products that they do when it comes to makeup, and it's all really about truly inspiring other people. And so you did that for 14 years, inspiring others, and then now you're pouring yourself into, you've poured your other part of your life into others now for the last 17. But so I want to ask you, I always ask people this question: who and what inspired you to bounce into these types of businesses, to do what you're doing? What really was the thing that hit you over the head that said, you know what, I need to do this and I need to inspire other people in a different way, and I really want to do it for myself, besides the fact that, hey, being in corporate world wasn't it? Is there anybody else that really inspired you to do this in your life?
It's so funny. When I was a little girl, I was always selling something. I was always running something, doing something. And I was the little girl who was outside selling lemonade. I mean, I had my whole lemonade stand. People would be going down the street. I would be selling my lemonade. But my dad had more of the entrepreneurial spirit. And he really encouraged me to just be me. I'll never forget when I told them, because see, my job was waiting for me in corporate America. So I was like the poster child. And then when I told everyone that I was leaving corporate, everybody was like, are you serious? Except him. My father, he passed away 12 years ago, but he was the one who was like, you know what? I believe in you. And I know you've always made good decisions. And if the decision that you're going to make, I'm going to support you. Now, little did I know, you're about to crack up. Little did I know that he went to my mom like, oh, Lord.
Like, what is wrong with my child?
She's doing? Because, see, I graduated at the top 2% of my class in the College of Business at Ohio State, which is when I was there, I don't know what number it is now, Kimberly, but it was like number 16 in the nation. 2 business degrees. So,
That's amazing.
People were like, are you crazy? But I just knew. And I think from a little girl, I knew that my gift was bigger than just keeping it in a box and working in corporate. I knew that it was bigger and it could not be behind a desk. I knew it needed to be out there. And I've known that my whole entire life. It's just, it's crazy because like I said, I was always doing something, always selling something. So I would say probably the person who inspired me the most in this lane. You know, I have a lot of people who've inspired me, but in the lane of entrepreneurship was my father.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was just going to say. Your father was definitely the person who pulled you up out of that string that you were kind of hanging on, trying to figure out, okay, do I really want to do this? But then, like you said, you've always known. And it's funny that I think that the whole direction that you've gone through, God definitely put you in the path that you need to get to in order for you to be able to be on your own. And then, you know, just allowing people just to allow you just to have that courage. And I think that's important. I think a big part of what we have all come up to learn as we've been growing up is that, you know, all we're ever told 90% of the time is that, you know, you go out here, get an education and get a great job, right? A lot of people don't always talk about entrepreneurship. And I think I was just reading here recently or heard that, you know, that's a gift that people are starting to do for their kids instead of saying, look, you can have a choice. You don't have to go to college, but I'm going to give you the gift of life. And that gift of life is I'm going to give you the money you need to start your own entrepreneurship, become a business owner. And I think that's a great option.
It is. You know, this is a different generation that's coming up. They're different. They think different. I just added a millennial to one of my coaching programs, and she told me, she was like, Shaniece, my mother wanted me to be a nurse, but I never wanted to be a nurse. So I found myself going to school to be a nurse, and then I ended up dropping out. And now she's amazing. She, at 24, Kimberly, on Instagram, she has like 13,000 followers. Wow. And she's inspiring the millennials. So it's just different nowadays. And I think as people in my age group and older, we have to recognize that our children, the school route may not be what they do.
Exactly.
You know, college may not be what they do. They need to do something. But we need to, as parents, to encourage them to follow their dreams and have a plan of action. That's like my son. He said, Mommy, when I turn 16, can I work in your company?
Aww.
I was like, you sure can, as long as you keep your grades up, because that's the stipulation, then you can, you know. So I don't know. It's just, we have to be willing to follow who we truly desire to be and not who someone else wants us to be.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I'm always one that badgering and talks about conformity. You know, we're so used to having to conform to what we're being told from the time that we're brought in this world. You got to do this way. You got to do it that way. And it's like, once you start coloring outside those lines, then you're told you're being different. But that's what's so unique about us all, is that we are different, and it's okay. And it's all right to be able to say, I want to step out here and I want to do my own. Like you said, as long as you're learning and you get an education, because excuse me, that education comes with that platform. It helps you grow and it helps you become successful. And, you know, ironically, I was having the same conversation with my son the other day about the fact that, and he's 31, and I was talking about how when we were coming up and growing up, we did have options. We didn't have to go automatically to a 4-year school. You know, you could do 2 years, or you can do the on-the-job training type programs. You had all these different certification programs. The things that they took away, they're all starting to bring them back somewhat differently, but at the same time, it gave us a choice, because I didn't even actually go to college until I got my degree in 2011, because I got my education and on the job. I did 14 years in the military. That was another great option that we were offered more of. It wasn't like, okay, well, you're just not going just to go to war. You're going to get a true education and realize what it meant to be a service to others, you know. So there were so many different things that we could do then that they definitely need to continue to have that option for our millennials today, and then the people coming up, the young people coming up behind them. And then, of course, I absolutely think that entrepreneurship should definitely be there. Definitely be there. Yeah. So I have another question, because the thing I was listening to you talk about, and I love about your program and your business, is that you actually like I said, talk about people move up to the next level, giving them different strategies. So being that somebody walks through your door, you know, they're making $600,000 already, you know, the business is doing well, they're growing, they got those 6 figures. How do you teach them to really move and think about monetizing and getting better at it? Because that's always a focus, is monetization. How do we get better at what we're doing? Just kind of give me a synopsis of how that looks for you.
Well, first we have to identify what stage of business that they're in, what level, because there's 5 stages of business. So are they emerging? Where are they at? Are they in a place where they're building an empire and now it's time to leverage, now it's time to scale? So just because they come to me and their revenue is 600,000, it doesn't mean that they have cash on hand or a profit. So I sit down and I look at all that. Okay. We do literally in their onboarding session with me, we do a total business analysis. And actually I started after they signed their contract to join the coaching program, because a lot of times we hear 600,000 or $1 million business owner and they're struggling. Normally the CEO will be the last one to take a pay check. So, and the reason I can say this, I'm giving you an example of one of my clients who came to me, $1 million business owner, on the outside, beautiful, over 20 employees, known all over, very visible, but on the inside, she is still working in the business instead of working on it. You know what I mean? So she's still doing things that she should have delegated, her employees should be doing. So when she came to me, we sat down, we did the analysis, and she's like, Shaniece, I want to start branding myself as the CEO. I want to, because her head had been down for so long working in the business. And now she's like, I want to be a Keynote. I want to do this. I want to do that. So we put systems and strategies in place. I'm just the type of person as a business coach. I'm like, okay, let's develop your tree and all your branches that come out of your tree. Even if you're making money on them, even if you've developed them, let's look at everything that you could do to earn a revenue. Okay. We look at the different branches. We identify, like right now, she wants to develop her own personal brand outside of her business. We're looking at what type of revenue that's going to generate and what type of profit she's going to make off of it. The great thing about her product-based company, which is, she's $1 million business owner off a product-based company, there's not a lot of profit margin in there. Right. But now on her service-based company, her personal branding company, because she's going into coaching, she's going into training, she's going into doing workshops and classes and building her own self, there will be a better profit margin for her. So that's what I do. I literally, when I say that I am a one-stop shop, that's what I mean. When you come to me, because I specialize in branding and marketing and selling, I look at everything and I'm like, okay, this is where we need to optimize this. This is where we need to implement this new system. We need to implement this strategy. Let me show you where you're leaving money on the table. Right. And if you make this real quick change, you will see your revenue grow by at least 40 to 50%. Wow. And she's done that. I mean, she has been with me, and I could give you example after example, for 7 months. Now, you have to remember, she's $1 million. She came to me as $1 million business owner. So she's grown by probably 35 to 40% in 7 months, because she's already $1 million business owner. What I needed to do was help her develop stronger systems and strategies to remove her from the day to day. And that's what we've done. That's what we've done. And in my yearly, I have a 12-month program that is more for my business owners like that, who are about to hit the 6-figure mark or surpassed it. And they need that next level. They need me. They need my glasses. You know what I mean? They need me to be able to come in and look. And then I also have an accelerated program more for my newer business owners that want to move quickly. Their goal is to get to that yearly program. So in my 15-week accelerated program, they already know. They're not the ones who are like, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. They know what they want to do. They just need me to help them walk it out.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's always the hardest part, whether you're new or existing, is like you said, once you've reached a certain pinnacle, you're lost, and you definitely need that vision, somebody from the outside looking in to help you go through the strategies. And I think that it picked up the most I liked what you just said was the fact that you actually had them do the sign up for the coaching. So talk to me a little bit about how the coaching process works.
Well, the coaching process, we schedule a discovery session, because here's the thing about me. let me say this before I even go into that. People ask me, Shaniece, what makes you different? Because there are many coaches out there. What makes you different? And I tell them, I don't know if this makes me different, but when it comes to the way that I teach by using biblical principles, because I believe that those are the best type of principles that you can use for me in order to grow and develop your business, because it is a faith walk. When you become an entrepreneur, it is a faith walk. But if you think about it, Kimberly, getting in your car, you're operating by faith. But so first and foremost, that's what I tell them. Like, this is, we get on our discovery session. This is who I am. You don't have to worry about me changing. You don't want, this is what you see right now is what you get. I am very spiritual grounded. I love my clients. I pray over my clients. I pray over their families. I get to know their families. I get to know their children, because it's about relationships with me. It's not always about the money and who you can bring into your program. It's about I really want to see them win. I really want to see them transition. So I tell them up front, this is who I am. And in my book, I say, this is who I be. And so we get that off the ground. And I'm like, I know I'm not everyone's coach, and I'm okay with that. And I'm grateful to the Lord that my business is running very greatly. It's running smoothly, where I'm not like, oh, I got to sign this. Oh, I got to, I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, this has to be a heart connection.
Right.
So once we establish that, I learn a little bit more about them. Even on our discovery call, I give them a little bit of coaching, because I want them to still be, even if they never join my coaching program, I still want to make sure that I impact their life some way. So on the discovery call, we do, I'll tell them the different things that I see based off what they're sharing with me. The first conversation, we don't talk about investment. We don't talk about anything except them learning more about me. So once we get off, we do a 30-minute call just to get to know each other. We get off the call. I send them information because I want them to research. There are so many people who just join programs, and then they look back and they're like, I just wasted my money, because that was me. That was me. I joined a coaching program, newer in the game. And let me tell you what she said. She asked me what I do. And I told her, this is what I do. This is how I coach. She said to me, Kimberly, no, don't tell me what I do. Tell me what you do. Right. I was quiet just like that.
Like, wait a minute.
So, right. Hold up. Wait a minute. Rewind. What do you mean?
Right.
So, but I didn't do the research. So I tell them, I give them my example, and I tell them, do the research, because now my coach, because every great coach has a great coach. My coach, it was a heart connection. We fell in love with each other. Literally, we can talk girlfriend stuff. We can talk, business, and that's what I appreciate about her. So after our first call, I send them information. I send them to my podcast. I send them to all my social media. I send them videos, because I want them to know what they're getting into.
Right.
Then we schedule another call. We still may not talk about the investment, because I want to answer questions. I want to, just continue to feel where they're at.
Right.
Because when you invest in yourself at this type of level, you have to know that you want something more. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to get a hold of it.
Exactly.
And sometimes on that call, we talk about the investment and what program I think will be best for them. I know will be best for them. And then sometimes we schedule another call. So I just base it off of where they're at, the type of questions. Once they do their deposit, they sign their contract, we go full speed ahead. And it just depends if it's the yearly program or the 15-week program. I also have an online resource center where there's training modules and educational materials. Yeah. So when we're not coaching, and if someone calls me and says, Shaniece, I need an example of a contract, or how do I do this? I can say, hey, just go into the resource center, look under module, blah, 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 under branding, look under contracts and or policies and procedures. Right. So whatever they're looking for. So that it's like a library for the in-between.
Right.
And then they have a lot of access to me. I build the program around them having access to me, because I've joined too many. I've been a part of programs where they're like, no, you can only talk to me on this day. And I'm like,
exactly.
You know what? This is real life. These are real people. They have families. They're building So I open myself up, but I do cut it off at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
So that on the coaching side, that's what it looks like. And I've had amazing results. I've had them, and I have told people no, and I've told people I may not be your ideal client, your ideal coach,
Mm-hmm.
because there was not a heart connection. So I discern that. I use wisdom because I've worked with people where it just didn't work. They signed up in
Right.
my coaching program and it just didn't work. And I said, I don't want to go down that route. And here's the thing for all the business owners listening, you must be clear. You must be clear about who you are, who you serve, and you have to be clear that it's okay to say no because it is a sentence. It is a
Exactly.
sentence with a period.
Exactly.
And when I became clear, that is when everything shifted for me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing that I do with my clients, no matter where they're at, because every new level, there's a new type of ideal client you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I help them get clear because it's easy to say, well, oh, no one is investing in my program or buying my services or buying my products, and your messaging is not connected to your ideal clients.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. And then we look at, especially for my seasoned ones who come to me, we look at their pricing and their packaging, because I would say 70% of business owners are not charging what they should be charging. And then
I
we go
agree with that. I agree with that because that's something I've always kind of struggled with myself. You're kind of going back and forth about, well, are they going to pay this or pay that? But then you have to realize that if you don't know your worth, they're not going to know their worth.
Mm-hmm. So true. So
Mm-hmm.
true. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know your worth, and there has to be a point when you stop allowing people to take you to coffee or pick your brain, or because
Mm-hmm.
people keep saying that to you. You are an expert. People wouldn't say that to you if they didn't believe or know that you know what you know. So at the end of the day, you just have to become clear who you are and what it is that you offer.
Well, I like that. I love the strategies. I like how your approach as being a book coach, and I like the fact that you absolutely take the time to learn more about, teaching them who they are, and then them learning vice versa who you are, giving them the opportunity, like I said, to review the resources and understand what they are truly getting into. There's no misunderstanding. If there is any misunderstandings, because you guys weren't meant to be. And I like that. I definitely like your strategy. So I have a couple more
Thank you.
questions. You're welcome. Couple more questions before we end the show. I do want to find out, though, that if you had some expert advice that you would like to give to someone who decided that, hey, I want to come into business, but I'm not sure how I want to do it, what would you tell them today?
I would tell them to get a coach. Like if I had to rewind, and when I was first developing my coaching program, I didn't have a coach. And like in the beginning, all the way to the beginning. And I would say, do some research and look for someone like what I just shared with you, someone who is really serious about helping you grow,
Mm-hmm.
and do research on them, talk with them, but you can only take yourself as far as you have gone, right?
Right.
You need someone else who has been there, done that, and they can pull you up. So I would say for those of you, if you're trying to figure out what you want to do, or if you're already in business and you're trying to get to the next level, get help. Get help.
I agree.
And it's okay. It's okay to get help.
Right.
So get help.
Keyword, ask, instead of sitting back and waiting for it to come
Yes.
to you. Exactly. Then I do have another question, and this will be my last one for the evening. I would like to ask you, do you have any upcoming events that you would like to share with everyone?
Actually, tomorrow I am speaking it's a huge, I live in Columbus, Ohio. So it's a huge leadership conference. So I'm on a panel. I'm speaking at that. And then July, I take a vacation. Thank you,
Yay.
Jesus. And then in August, I have a couple of speaking events, but I do have some webinars that I'll be launching in the fall, as well as some online classes. So I'll definitely share those with you, Kimberly. And
Okay.
if anyone listening wants to find me, all you have to do is search Shaniece M. Wise. That is all my social media. That's my website, Shaniece my middle name, well, my middle initial M, last name Wise, WISE. But there's going to be some more things that we're rolling out. But if if anyone is interested in learning more about my coaching program, you can go to my website, and at the top of it, it says Discovery Session, and just click on that and we can have a conversation.
Awesome. Well, I do want to say thank you so much for giving me your time this evening. It has been a whirlwind of great information. And like Shaniece said, if you have any questions, you want to be interested in learning how you can get up to that next level, reach out to her. She is available on all social media platforms. She's not hard to find. And if you don't know how to spell her name, I'm going to tell you how it is now. It's SHANIECE, and the last name is WISE, Shaniece Weiss. She is, like I said, the owner and CEO and founder of Wise, Armstrong and Associates, LLC, and the host of the podcast, Red Lipstick Chronicles, Tips from the Lips of Successful Entrepreneurs. Again, thank you all for listening to the show this evening. We are here every Thursday evening, but of course we do have a holiday coming up, so do not expect me live next week. It's 4th of July, so I'm going to try to enjoy it like everybody else, but you will see, you'll be back here on the following week on July the 11th with the Lady K and Mr. P show. So until next time, you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.